All right, so this is a recap from about the last 2 weeks, starting on March 14th, whenever I got back from vacation. And I'm opening up here with some speed bench press. Before I actually wound up doing this workout, though, I wound up doing jujitsu that day. This day was actually a three-a-day. I did jujitsu, then I did my my normal workout, and then I did some sparring over at a gym. So after doing my 1 hour jujitsu, I went in and did some bike work for about 5 minutes. Yeah, I concluded that and did about 5 minutes of dynamic movement. This would include my warm up, face pulls, banded exercises, and the such. After that, which is what you're seeing here, I began doing the speed bench press. Actually, for this lift, you can see I wound up using chains for my accommodating resistance. I actually figured out a way to put the chains on the bar that I liked better than what I was doing before. So I think I'm going to stick with um, this method of putting the chains on the bar on the insides. But yeah, I wound up doing basically 9 total sets. I did 3x3 for closed grip, 3x3 for normal grip, and 3x3 for wide grip, all at 115 pounds with the chains added on. The chains were about 25-ish pounds, so I guess it was about 50 pounds of accommodating resistance overall, but felt like this exercise was pretty explosive. It was definitely moving quickly, so I do believe I got some training adaptations from that. Um, with all that being said, uh, given my workout split and the amount of training that I'm doing, I'm only really having a speed day about once a week, sometimes twice a week, if it winds up working out that way. And as it pertains to my upper body, other than me doing some AMRAP push-ups, I'm not really doing too much speed exercises on my upper body. So that's definitely something that I'm trying to prioritize. Really take advantage of the time that I have whenever I am doing speed bench press. So I'm making sure that I'm trying to do it as explosive as possible and get just the most training adaptations out of it. And then after I wound up doing my speed bench press, I wound up doing the dumbbell incline. I wound up getting 10 set or wound up getting 3 sets total. My first set I got 10 reps at 80 pounds. My second set I got 10 reps at 80 pounds. And my third set I got only 9 reps at 80 pounds. Overall, this is still one of my favorite upper body exercises. Might wind up keeping this one even after I'm done with this whole little programming that I'm doing right now. I really enjoy just the stretch that I get on these, especially down towards the bottom. I enjoy how I'm able to easily add weight or drop weight if I need to for this exercise. Overall, it's just a great chest builder, a great shoulder builder, and even it's hitting some of my arms as well. Um, but yeah, definitely enjoyed the incline work. And I also went ahead and notated that I was doing more than the previous time. So I want to notate that here as well in the film. So my lifts are going up, which is good. And then after that, I'll go ahead and get ahead of myself a little bit and talk about the dumbbell rows. I just did 3 sets of 10 at 100 pounds. It only goes up to 100 pounds here at Town Center Fitness. Might need to change some things up pretty soon, but I'm going to try to get just more reps next time. Overall, that was a good exercise. And then I wound up doing my overhead tricep extensions and my cable curls. I wound up doing 5x15 for the overhead tricep extensions. Um, Definitely talked about how it was difficult. Did this at 135 pounds. And then for my cable curls, I did 3 sets of 18 at 120-ish. Basically notated those are almost like AMRAPs. Wound up deciding to do 3 sets instead of 5 for the cable curls just because of fatigue. But after that, I wound up doing my sparring over at a local gym, and the day was pretty productive, felt pretty good. Um, you got to recall, I still am on my diet here, trying to lean down a bit, so doing 3 a days is kind of difficult, but whenever I have off from school and work, I definitely try to prioritize that so I can just make up for time. Because there are going to be days where, given my schedule right now with school, there's going to be days where I'm just not able to do 2 a days where I'm able to lift and go train. So there will be some days also throughout here that are just rest days as well. and that's just a part of my life. Now, on March 15th, I wound up doing a sled drag and some mobility work. Those are my warm ups basically, and then I went right into some low bar speed squats onto a box. I wound up doing this at seminal strength. You'll see this in a few minutes here. Um, Wound up doing uh, my first two sets at 3 reps for 185 pounds. There was some knee pain. I was going below parallel, but basically I wound up, I believe, upping the box. I made it like an inch or two higher, and I wound up doing 6 additional sets at 3 reps each for 185 pounds. Just upping it by a couple inches made all the difference in my knee pain, specifically my right knee. So I'm going to keep doing that, keep my box squats a little higher than normal. No need for me necessarily to go to parallel right now just to induce pain in my knee. Um, so with that being said, I'm going to keep my box squats a little higher than I normally would otherwise. After that, I wound up doing some speed deadlift. I did this sumo, just did 10 sets of 2 at 225 pounds plus 50-ish pounds per side, added in chains. After that, I did dumbbell split squat, just 2 sets of 8 at 40 pounds. I did notate there was some discomfort in my knee, specifically when I got down to the stretching position. After that, I did my dumbbell partial lateral raises, which I added into this day. I don't normally do those, however, uh, I was wanting to add those in just for some extra volume for my shoulders. So I did 1 set, 430 at 50 pounds. And then after that, I did some hanging leg raises with a fat grip bar. I did 3 sets of 15 at my body weight, and then I concluded with some tibia bar raises, 2 sets of 25 at 25. I did notate that I did some calf raises at Town Center Fitness later. I do not know if I filmed those because I don't have them in my film log. I don't believe they're in here at all either. I'm gonna take a look at that. I'm a little ahead of myself. Yeah, I don't believe I filmed those, but I did wind up leaving Seminole Strength on that lower body day to go do just some calf raises at Town Center Fitness. They have a better machine for it, so I'd rather do it there as opposed to Seminole Strength, and it's on the way back to my house as well, so no real harm there. But after that, the next day on March 16th, I wound up running. I notated it was in the sun. I did this for a minute and a half. I wound up getting some shin splints and some pain in the front of my legs just from not running too often. So I wound up calling it at a mile and fit, at 1.5 miles. And then I wound up doing an hour of MMA later. And after that, on March 17th, I wound up lifting with one of my friends, and I guess this is where we can catch up. A lot of the film would catch up a bit. I wound up lifting with my friend Riley. We wound up doing some face pulls with the cable. And I did my first 3 sets, or really my only 3 sets for face pulls at 100 pounds just to a pump. Was really just trying to get some training in my rear delts here, doing some type of motion pattern that would allow them to grow, and since I'm always doing face pulls um, with a I'm looking at the camera stop for a second, or me stop rather. But since I wound up doing face pulls typically with a band, I wound up doing it with a cable. The cable just allows me to add more, will keep the weight constant throughout. So I wound up doing that. And then I wound up doing some incline bench press. I did this with dumbbells. And if you saw me earlier, dumbbell incline bench pressing maybe 4 or 5 minutes ago, I was doing 80 pounds. Well, I went ahead and jumped up to 95 pounds, and I notated that it felt good. I went up doing 2 sets of 6 at that 95 pounds, and both sets felt really good. Um, really happy with that. Eventually, I'm wanting to get up to 100. I believe it's just a little mental hurdle, though, because every single time I get to 95, and then I try to get the 100s up, I seem to not be able to get them up. So, looking forward to that in the near future. After that, I wound up doing some standing dumbbell tricep extensions. Wound up doing 22 reps at 20 pounds. And then I did my lat pull downs. I did 2 sets of 8 at 180 pounds. I did these slow, I did these wide grip, and I did these concurrently with some normal tricep extension, just cable press downs as well. And for those 2 press downs, I wound up doing 2 of the sets to 12 reps at 120 pounds. After that, I did some cable flies. I didn't notate if it was low to high or in the middle, but I do believe it was from high to low, and I wound up doing 2 sets of 12 at 90 pounds. After that, I did some more cable tricep extensions, and I did notate, yes, again, I did those. I wound up doing those just for some extra tricep work. I'm going to turn my microphone down here a little bit. And then for those cable tricep extensions, I wound up doing 2 sets of 20 at 80 pounds. After that, I did some cable forearm curls, just 2 sets of 25 at 160 pounds. Basically notated that I wound up doing that day uh, where I deviated with my friend Riley, primarily so I could just do a light lift. Want to do a light lift with a friend, enjoy the workout, not have to worry about filming it, and just do some things that I don't normally do. Things like the face pulls with a cable, things like upping my dumbbell incline bench press. I wanted doing lower reps, but I did a higher weight. I did some standing dumbbell tricep extensions. Of course, that's something I haven't done in a while. And then I did the lat pull downs, which I did those slow. Did them wide grip, and that's something I don't normally do. If I get the option to do any type of vertical pulling motion, I'm typically going to be doing a pull up or a chin up. And then I just did some tricep extensions. I did them twice. Added in the cable curls as well that I didn't wind up doing fully on the previous few days. And then just some cable flies so I could stretch out my chest a little bit. I'm really happy with that lift though, felt good. After that lift on March 18th, I wound up doing wide grip max effort bench. I wound up working up to 245 pounds, which is not nearly as high as I'd like to have gone. Ideally, I'd like to hit 275 even in training. However, with the amount of work I'm doing and cutting, that's not always feasible, and I'm aware of that. So it was really difficult for me, but I wound up calling it 245. Um, Doing these max effort days definitely can mentally take a toll on you if you're not hitting the reps, or rather the weight that you want. So I just want to notate that, and then I wound up doing my sets of closed grip bench press. I wound up doing it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I wound up doing 5 total sets. My first 4 were 6 reps at 225 pounds, and then my final set was 5 reps at 225 pounds. Wound up needing to cut this exercise short. I did wind up lifting that day as well with Riley, but I wound up leaving and cutting this exercise really short so I could go ahead and make MMA practice over at Outsiders. I wanted to get an hour of that in that day, and I just decided I'd wind up finishing the rest of the workout the next day or so. And that is what I did. I wound up the next day on March 19th just doing jiu-jitsu over at Positive Balance for an hour, and then MMA again at Outsiders for 90 minutes. And then on March 20th, this is when I wound up completing March 18th's lift. I warmed up with bike for 5 minutes, then warmed up with a dynamic workout for another 5 minutes. And you'll see the film of this in a few moments. And then I wound up going into the T-bar rows. I wound up doing my 3 full sets at 160 pounds. Notated that there was some pressure on my lower back, but as the sets went along, I wound up feeling better and better. I wound up having a long rest in between each set as well, and overall, that exercise felt really good. After that, I did my dumbbell shoulder press. I again added this in. I added that in primarily for a few reasons. One, it had been 2 days since I've done a real uh, pressing motion before that was heavy, so I just went ahead and did this to basically a failure, an AMRAP set. I did 12 reps at 50 pounds. I wanted to do this before I did my push-ups so that I could do that explosive push-up a little bit more fatigued than normal. And I wound up beating my previous 30-second record of push-ups, and I wound up getting 62 total reps. I guess you could say it's plus or minus 1 or 2 reps, just because I'm not necessarily looking at the clock. But 62 reps felt pretty good, felt explosive, felt fast. So I am definitely liking that, and that's something that I'm enjoying watching progress as well. After that, I wound up doing my dumbbell lateral raises. I did 5 total sets of these, and my first 3 I did 25 reps at 25 pounds, and I notated that was quite the improvement. And then I wound up doing my 2 final sets at 20 pounds, or at 20 reps each for 25 pounds. Wound up notating that that was good, even though I needed to even though I did need to drop the reps just a little bit to focus on some form and not swing too wild. But overall, really proud with those dumbbell lateral raises. This is something that's going to keep and continue to grow my shoulders, something that I'm trying to get bigger for various reasons. I believe I've mentioned it before, but right now I'm really trying to focus on my upper body wise, my weak links. My weak links are for right now, my weak links are my grip on my deadlift and my rows. My weak links are my triceps on my pressing, and then my shoulders when it comes to aesthetics. Um, and I also have that in MMA as well. I have a little bit of weakness in my shoulders. They tend to get tired. So we're just trying to address all those weak links while also working compound movements and then some unilateral movements as well, which is why I've been doing so much shoulder work. After that, though, I wound up doing my overhead tricep extensions, which I did alongside the cable curls. I wound up doing my let's start with this. I wound up doing three sets for both of them. For my first set on the overhead tricep extensions, I did 25 reps at 125 pounds. I then matched that for my second set and then for my second set, I did match it at 25 reps at 125 pounds. And then for my third set, I wound up dropping it down to 15 reps at 125 pounds. And then I wound up doing for my cable curls just 3 straight sets of 15 reps each at 125 pounds. After that, I wound up doing an explosive movement, which was me doing the box jumps to approximately 36 inches. I got 15 of those total. And then I did MMA as well at Outsiders for 2 hours. This is the day that I notate I'm starting to curl every night as well, and that is something that I was going to discuss here. Um, I'm trying to definitely, as I'm cutting weight here, I'm noticing that I am getting a little smaller, some of my muscles. I'm definitely getting more ripped, but I am definitely getting a little bit smaller as well. And to combat some of the mental side effects of me losing weight, I'm going to start working out my arms every night, start doing some curls, just to add some stimulus for my biceps. I'm wanting to make sure that a lot of shirts still fit snugly around my arms and still look good. So I'm going to basically start doing curls every night. I've been doing it now for a while. Um, I have slacked the last day or so, but I don't believe that's in this recap right now. But that's primarily because I'm just now getting off being sick. Had some type of sickness that's been affecting me the last few days. Basically, just a little bit of a sore throat and some mucus. Not too much coughing, a little bit of sneezing, but all that to say, I'm going to wind up continuing to curl every night. I'm going to wind up still continuing to stretch some. I haven't been stretching as much as I had liked, but I'm going to continue to keep stretching and make an effort to improve um, that flexibility aspect of my training as well. But yeah, overall, this was a pretty good workout that I did that day. And then I wound up on March 21st. Now this is a crazy day for me. On March 21st, where do I begin? Basically, I woke up early, went to school, and then I went to jujitsu. I did that for an hour. After that, I went to work, a new serving job where I was at for 10 hours, and I didn't get off till like basically 1 a.m. in the morning. After that, I wound up saying, you know what, I'm already up this early. I need to get a shift at the hospital for my clinical hours. So I wound up going in at 3 a.m. to 7, which left me about an hour and a half of time to work out in between. So at about 2 o'clock in the morning, 1:30ish, somewhere in there, which actually would have been on March 22nd, technically, but I notated it for this day because it was the day, I'm going cycles of how I was awake. But on March 21st, I wound up basically saying, hey, I'm going to go into the gym real late. And that's what I did. I wound up doing I deviated. Let's start with that. I did some deviations, but I wound up going in and getting some extra work in. I wound up doing some wide grip explosive high pulls. I did 20 reps at 135 pounds, decided that was a little bit light and the repage there was quite high. So I wound up dropping the reps down to 10 and up the weight. And for my next 2 sets, I did 10 reps at 185 pounds. Overall, felt pretty good. Was a little sore a few days after, so definitely enjoyed that movement. After that, I did some rear delt fly work. I just lowered the weight so I could squeeze basically. and I did 3 sets of 15 and 135 pounds. Felt pretty good. However, I did wind up getting some type of allergic reaction, or something. Something happened. I don't know what, but I started itching for about a good 15 minutes while I was at the gym. Contemplated leaving even. But n- all that to say, basically I wound up just itching really bad. My skin got a little bit red. Don't know what I touched or what happened, but for whatever reason, I was feeling weird. After that, though, I was like, you know what? I'm going to do some leg extensions. I haven't hit my leg in quite a while. So I wound up doing 3 sets of 10 at 90 pounds. And of course, the first set was all right. The second set was better. And the third set was the best. That seems to be the common theme whenever I'm doing these leg extensions. And then after that, I did a hand walk. Just did that for 25-ish yards. Notated that it felt good and that it was pretty easy. And then after that, I wound up doing some dips at body weight, just 2 sets of these for 15 with 3 minutes rest in between. Notated that I was doing a really slow eccentric and a really fast concentric. Um, Reason being is I was trying to be explosive here. After that, I did the barbell face curl with the front raises at 45 with a 45-pound plate. Notated this little duo here was incredibly hard. I wound up doing 10 reps at 95 pounds plus 10 reps at that 45-pound plate, and I did that twice. After that, I added the hanging leg raises. I just did 3 sets of 10. Notated it was kind of easy. Probably should have done more, but I wasn't trying to kill myself. After that, I did the rope, this rope thing. I don't really know what to call it. It's like a battle rope, but it's connected to something above and like a some type of manner that puts resistance on it. But basically, I was just doing some tricep extensions, pulling it down. Did that for 2 minutes straight. Felt a burn. And then, yeah, this is basically where I started getting sick. And this is where I'm going to wind up saying that this was the end of my recap for the last week and a half to 2 weeks. So overall, this film here that you're seeing from the start until the finish is basically the last 2 weeks of my workout after coming back from a spring break trip. Um, it's really just me getting back into the groove of things, getting back into both school, work, working out, training, all of that stuff. Um, it's me basically just uh, trying to stay consistent. And that's overall that's the main thing here is even though there are going to be days where I might have a rest day here or a rest day there, or maybe I'm injured or something comes up with school or whatever it is. Um, I'm just trying to stay consistent here over the long term. I'd rather stay consistently working out 2 or 3 times a week than fluctuate and work out right now, 3 or 4 days this week, 2 days that week, 5 days this week. So unfortunately, I don't have the luxury of having a set schedule right now, which is something that I'm wanting to do at some point in the future, whenever my schedule allows for it. But um, eventually, I'll have a set schedule, and my training will be a little bit more uh, professional looking. It'll look a little bit more better overall, hopefully. But until then, I'm going to wind up still working around my schedule the way that I'm doing, trying not to make excuses and just make up for things that I miss here and there as I need to. Um, but yeah, overall was a great couple weeks. Wound up getting some great sessions in. The main things that I noticed is I didn't get to work out my legs as much as I wanted to, especially whenever I throw in a day or two here or there where I'm just deviating from my set schedule. Um, you don't necessarily always realize it in the moment. However, it does tend to come out later. Um, and again, I'm not really too pressed about it right now just because I am still trying to rehab my leg. I'm not trying to grow my legs that much bigger, anyways, especially during this cut. I'm really just trying to keep. Um, I'm going to tilt that microphone back down. I'm really just trying to keep the leg mass that I have. At this point, my legs are pretty big as they are. I'm really just trying to keep that leg mass. I'm trying to grow just a little bit of leg mass on my right leg to where it looks equal with my left because it looks a little bit smaller right now. Trying to rehab the injury, and try to keep my strength, and just become more explosive, especially with my lower body. Um, I'm not really trying to do anything bodybuilder-esque with my legs. I'm pretty confident in how they look. I like how they look. They're strong. So, name of the game when it comes to me, working out right now, specifically right now, is rehabbing my knee. Well, in total, let's just recap here. The name of the game right now for me when it comes to training in the gym. Overall, I'm trying to do everything that's going to help facilitate my MMA career. Um, I'm trying to as well uh, do things that are good for my lifestyle. So that's going to be things like face pools to help keep me healthy, and then doing some complex lifts here so I can keep my absolute strength, keep doing uh, some explosive movements as well so I can keep doing my dynamic strength. And those are the main things that I'm doing for that. As far as the hypertrophy work, that's more or less just for me personally. That's for me so that I can wind up just getting bigger. I don't know any guys that don't want to get bigger, so I'll uh, I'll leave it at that. But overall, the name of the game is just try to get stronger, without adding too much mass. Try to keep having an aesthetic body, one that's reminiscent of a Greek god. That's something that we're going for here. Try to correct asymmetries. That's something I'll notate right now as I'm looking at this video. You can see me. Specifically, my left arm it's always a little bit above the right, it looks like. And that's because of a previous injury I've had years ago back in high school wrestling. But those are the main things I'm trying to do right now. I'm just trying to get stronger, trying to get, I know, just saying just. I'm trying to get stronger. I'm trying to get faster. I'm trying to get a little bit more muscle definition, stay healthy, just do things that aid me in my athletic endeavors and just be able to look good and feel good. And right now, uh, doing a bunch of heavy quad exercises such as like squats and doing a bunch of other leg exercises just isn't in the cards for me right now. I'm not trying to injure myself, not trying to do anything disastrous. The main thing that I'll be doing right now to build my legs is going to be the good morning. That's going to be my main, pretty much my only exercise to do my legs right now. It's just the good morning. Gonna do those. Keep running those. I like them. They feel safe for me. I feel healthy doing them. And then I do wind up doing the leg curls, the leg extensions, and the split squats. I'm doing those three things as a way for me to basically rehabilitate my right knee. I'm doing the leg extensions and the leg curls as opposed to me doing free weight exercises so that it's in a controlled manner. And then I'm winding up doing the dumbbell split squat, so I'm able to get a stretch reflex on those joints, specifically the one that's injured as well, but also so that I can do some unilateral work too. So those are the reasons that I'm doing that for my leg, and then everything else for my legs is going to wind up being max effort work, speed work, or uh, just some exercises that are going to help rehabilitate past injuries or proactive exercises that help me address things that could potentially be issues in the future. But with all that said, this was a good week. This is my second time filming this thing all the way through. I didn't really like the first time that I spoke through it, so I wound up changing it or deleting it, getting rid of it, and refilming it now. So I'll leave you all with this and let it play out with me doing these arm exercises here. But until next time, this was the recap for the last approximately 2 weeks. So have a great day. Bye.